It was in the 20th century that we found the most effective and global use of the terms left and right. In the face of an attempt at global revolution at the hands of communist parties across the world, the term left or left wing became most associated with any of the various ideologies and political efforts that flowed from the theories of Karl Marx. And this makes sense because Marx, in many ways, was the inheritor of Rousseau and the focus on equity and positive rights, a descendant of the Jacobins who occupied the original left wing in 1789 France. And that led the opponents of the left wing to become termed the right wing. But the new right wing was not the same as the original right wing. The new right wing was more defined by capitalism and democracy, by free government as opposed to the dictatorial regimes that came to control the communist nations. But of course, there was always those creeping idiosyncrasies that always betray the limits of the left versus right way of thinking. While left-wing politics was associated with dictatorship within countries that had underwent communist revolutions, such movements in democratic societies tended to support broader rather than restrained liberties, especially in terms of free art, free expression, and in standing against traditional morality. It was left-wing stand-up comedians who challenged censorship laws, left-wing counterculture movements that challenged traditional standards of dress and modesty, the left-wing sexual revolution that challenged the traditions of marriage, family, and sexual propriety. And it was the right-wing emphasis on tradition that stood against all of these challenges to the status quo, sometimes through government action that could also be considered dictatorial. And so you still had that original understanding of left versus right as revolution versus tradition, even as we embraced a new understanding of left versus right as dictatorship and communism versus freedom and capitalism.